Are you struggling with what to do with that extra 10-gallon enclosure you got sitting around, that extra 20-gallon enclosure sitting around you? You got all these enclosures, you don't know what to do. Well, today's list, we might be able to help you with that. With top 5 reptiles for small spaces. I'm your boy Smith, this is All Things Living. Let's go. Coming in at number 5, we've got anoles. Now, anoles are super exciting to watch. You can put them in like a 10-gallon tank, 20-gallon tank. That's if you got a little bit of space, but they'll also do great in something huge. If you want to go big, if you got like a big grow tent, a big custom 8-foot enclosure, something like that, these animals will use every inch that you give them, but they're also okay in very small enclosures. When these animals get to jumping left and right, get to climbing up and down, I promise you it's amazing. They're like if you ask me, they're like the dart frogs of the lizard world. Put them in an enclosure and they bring it to life. They're very active and they're everywhere. They're inquisitive. They really don't even mind the company of humans. You can open the enclosure. A lot of the times they're just gonna look up at you. Keep it moving. They don't mind. They usually don't even run away. They are very docile, very, very cool animals to watch. Now there are about, I think they said about 45 different species of anole. So you've got your regular green anoles, you've got your like crested anoles, your brown anoles, you've even got Cuban night anoles that are really big. These things they're huge and they're really cool, and they got very vivid colors. I even think that false chameleons are anoles too. Don't quote me on that, but I think that false chameleons are anoles too. So whatever tank size you have, you can choose the perfect anole for you. I think at any rate, small enclosure, big enclosure, vertically or horizontally, whatever you give these animals, they will enjoy it and you will enjoy watching them. They're an amazing pick for small spaces. Moving right along. Coming in at number 4, we've got the knobtail gecko. Knobtail geckos are super adorable. In fact, they should have been on the list of most adorable. Most adorable geckos 2 coming soon, promise you. Knobtail geckos can comfortably be housed in a 10-gallon, a baby or an adult. I would even say you can house an adult pair in a 10-gallon, but I would give them at least a 20-gallon. Yeah, these animals are relatively small. They only get about 5 to 6 inches max. Really good attitudes, very, very good candidates, not only for small spaces, but for handling. Yeah, these overall are just really dope animals. Now this is an arid species, usually like living in like sand scrubs and desert plains and stuff like that. So the enclosure build may be a little bit different, but for you guys who are good with like your bearded dragons and stuff like that, this animal will probably be perfect for you and save you a lot of space. They're super rewarding to work with. This is a really good animal for small spaces. Knobtail geckos live relatively long for a small gecko, anywhere from 10 to 15 years. And with them not taking up much space, that's perfect. A very personable animal that will be around for a while and tolerates handling. I think that's absolutely perfect. And with there being so many different types of knobtails and so many of them being bred in captivity, I'm absolutely positive you'll be able to find the knobtail gecko that's for you. Now these animals are a little bit expensive, little on the expensive side, but price point aside, this animal is a super rewarding animal to work with. They will be in our family. We will have knobtail geckos. They're absolutely beautiful. I love them. Just a perfect animal for small spaces. Anybody looking to get into a breeding project, or just anybody looking to fill up that extra 10 or 20 gallons you got sitting around. This animal is perfect for that. Coming in at number 3, we've got day geckos. Day geckos are good for small enclosures or big enclosures, but for the sake of this list, we're pushing small enclosures, right? And you guys know, how I am about my day geckos. I've got almost 20 for sale now. So many types of day geckos, from your neon day gecko to your peacock day gecko. I have Koch's day geckos, you have Madagascar giant day geckos. There's so many types of day geckos. There are micro geckos, big geckos. Really the choice is up to you. There's a day gecko for any enclosure, I can promise you that. small or tall, there's a day gecko for any enclosure. Now, day geckos really aren't too much for handling. They don't really like handling. Not to say that you can't. There are a couple of mine that'll come right up to me. I have the one that's sitting to my left right now. I can open her enclosure and she will come sit out on the top of the enclosure. She won't run away. She won't jump out, go dipping off. But that's the only one I can trust. These animals are super flighty and they're super fast. When they get out, it's an absolute nightmare. So keep handling to a minimum, or handle them in a place where you can control the situation. They don't really like handling. They drop their skin, they drop their tail, but they're very beautiful to watch. But with enough work, just like anything, with enough work, you'll have your day gecko coming right out every time he sees you, especially once they associate you with the food. You're the food guy. They love you. Day geckos are an amazing species to work with, super rewarding, very beautiful. I have some of my day geckos cohabing with my caiman lizards. Very good candidates for small enclosures, big enclosures. If you've seen the channel, you know we keep them in small enclosures and big enclosures. All of them are fine. Really choose the day gecko that suits your needs. If you have a small 10-gallon, get you a small day gecko. If you have a big 10-foot enclosure, get a bunch of big ones. Choice is yours. But they have a day gecko that'll suit any enclosure. All right, you guys, coming in at number 2. We got the leaf-tailed gecko. There are many different types of leaf-tailed gecko, but the one we're talking about for this list is the satanic leaf-tailed gecko. I wouldn't recommend this animal for everybody. Me personally, I think this animal is for experts and experts only. This isn't an animal you want to be experimenting with. This isn't an animal you want to be getting your practice up with. These are very delicate animals. They're very expensive. They're very hard to take care of, but they require no space. You can put them in a, let me see if I got one. Hold on, 1 second. You got one of these laying around? This is perfect for a satanic leaf-tailed gecko. 10-gallon, 20-gallon, whatever you want to do, perfect. But I think when it comes to this species, the smaller, the better. The less things that can go wrong, the better. They're very, very delicate, very hard to take care of. Even some experts I know that take care of these animals have had entire clutches passed with no real reason. They don't know. Even to this day, when I talk to the experts, there's still so many things they don't know, and they work with these animals every day. These animals are incredibly finicky and delicate, but very rewarding. Like I said, I couldn't give them the number 1 spot because I don't recommend this animal for everybody. Not for beginners, not even for moderate level keepers. This is a expert level animal. You gotta know what you're doing. And even when you know what you're doing, there's still a good chance that things can go wrong with these animals. We're still figuring it out, trying to figure out how to keep these animals perfect in captivity. Some people have it down really well. I'm not gonna recommend that you even go get this animal, but it's perfect for small enclosures, so I had to put it on the list. These animals are super small and cryptic. They literally look like leaves. They max out at about like 3 to 4 inches. Not big at all. They don't move a lot. They don't take up a lot of space. They don't eat a whole lot, but they are very delicate and very hard to take care of. So watch out. But if you can get the care down, you can expect to see this animal for 15 to 20 years. Much like a lot of these reptiles, they don't live too long in the wild. But when we get things down in captivity, we more than triple their lifespan. So if you can get it down, your satanic leaf-tailed gecko, he'll live for almost forever. Just be ready. Moving right along. All right, you guys, y'all know what it is. Coming in at number 1, we got the red-eyed crocodile skink. Should have saw it coming. You know how I feel about my red-eyed crocodile skinks. Very small, dragon-esque looking animals. They do not take up a lot of space. And the real reason why I love them almost more than any other reptile is the family structure. When they build family units, the male and the female bond, they have children, they take care of the children, and then the children play a role in taking care of the other children and raising up the entire and it's just absolutely beautiful. You don't see this too much in the animal kingdom with reptiles, and I love watching it. I started off with just a single pair. I don't even know how many red-eyed crocodile skinks I have at this point, and you guys know me, that's my favorite project. So I'm looking to have 10, 12, 14, 15 different pairs so I can be producing year round. And I wouldn't mind if I kept every baby. I would not mind. This is an absolutely adorable animal. I love red-eyed crocodile skinks. They're my favorite. Perfect for 10 gallons, perfect for 20 gallons. If you want to give them more space, you can. You're not gonna see them too much. But over time, when they get used to the flow of how everything's going in your area, the sounds, they'll start coming out. They'll get curious, they'll start coming out. And then with a little bit of practice, you can get them to come out right into your hands. Very rewarding. when you see an animal go from not wanting to be around you at all to, hey, that's my guy, the best feeling ever. And then the babies, day one, they don't even care. Day one, the babies are sitting right out in front of the enclosure. They're like, hey, guys, I love red-eyed crocodile skinks. I think these animals are perfect. They're not hard to take care of. They do not require any special lighting and UVA, UVB or nothing like that, although we do still give it to them. It's just a good practice. There's never a day where the sun is just not there. Always make sure that animals have access to some type of UVA, UVB. Even if they do not come out, just make sure it's there. We still give it to them. Put a bunch of nice plants in there. These animals are gonna love it. The more cover, the better. The more cover there is, the more comfortable they feel coming out. And then you'll see them all the time. You can tongue feed them, handle them. They don't really like handling too much, but I could go in and pick up any one of my crocodile skinks and it's not a problem. They don't bite. Usually they'll just bark and want to be left alone. These animals are absolutely just perfect to fit the bill. 10-gallon tank, 20-gallon tank, a little light, a shallow water dish for them to swim in and hydrate themselves, and you're good. You're golden. Really, they don't even need the light, but we're still gonna give it to them. So, red-eyed crocodile skinks, #1 best reptile for small enclosures, if you ask me. And if you have any red-eyed crocodile skinks, male or female, hit me up. We're looking, because all of my babies from last year are growing up. They're about to get their own, because they grow up so fast. I can't believe this. But they're all growing up, and they're all getting their own enclosures soon. They're all getting separated. They're all practically grown. If you have red-eyed crocodile skinks, hit me up. I'm looking. And there you have it, guys. The best reptiles for small enclosures. Hopefully I was able to help somebody with their space dilemma. You got a random 10-gallon, 20-gallon. I've got enclosures everywhere, so I get it. But that was the list, guys. I appreciate you guys tuning in. You could have been anywhere on this planet, but you decided to be here with me, and I really do appreciate that. So all things living, I'm out.